Good afternoon. I'm Kartikeya Sharma and you are watching special presentation on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has completed 11 years in power. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been in power for more than 3 decades. I think he is the longest serving public personality to be in power in independent India. As the Modi-led NDA government at the centre completes its 11 years, today BJP has planned a slew of events to celebrate the big day. In a social media post, Prime Minister Narendra Modi noted that the NDA government has redefined women-led development through a series of impactful initiatives. Government also released an e-book titled Viksit Bharat ka Amrit Kaal, Seva, Sushasana, Garib Kalyan ke 11 saal, on its achievements across all sectors over the past 11 years. BJP President JP Nadda will start this campaign by holding a press conference. The press conference of senior BJP leaders, chief ministers and union ministers will be held across country on June 10th. Besides government's achievements, the valor of the army in Operation Sindoor will also be told, disseminated. On this issue, I am joined by Savio Rodriguez, founder and editor, Goa Chronicle, advocate Nikhil Jain, political analyst. And I will also be joined by other guests. Let me straight away go to Savio. Good afternoon to both of you.
Good afternoon.
Savio, 11 years, 3 decades in power. Do you think that he is the most game-changing Prime Minister of this country? Or Nehru remains the one?
Kartikeya, thank you for having invited me on your show. It's always a pleasure to share my thoughts along with Nikhil Jain. Sometimes we agree and sometimes we don't agree on various topics. But I don't think there is a comparison that we should even get into between Nehru and Prime Minister Modi, because there are different times and different eras from an India speaking perspective as well as global perspectives. What is important to understand is that what is India today under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi, and where is it going over the next couple of years based on the foundations that have been further strengthened by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So let me give you a simple example. If I were to, in our book, Modi's Bharat, A Decade of Achievements, which was co-authored with Amrit Kaal, there was one point which we highlighted a lot, and amongst the many points in that book was an example like the annual direct benefit transfers that existed during the UPA era. And if I do quote some figures out here, the annual direct benefit transfers during the UPA time was 7,367.7 crores. But in the almost 11 years of the BJP government, and I'm saying almost 11 because by the time we got the data, was right up till April 2025. So we don't have the remaining 3 months. But the Modi's government during his time, this annual direct benefit transfers was 5,93,843 crores. So that is a clear example to show that while UPA in its era may have had efforts towards their governance, Modi, over the last 11 years, has gone about reaching out to a large section of society, irrespective of caste or creed and strata of society, and trying to transform the lives of many Indians across various states in India. Now, why is that important? Because I think one of the most hallmarks of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's governance has been his ability to understand the growth from which he's come, the humble beginnings that he has had, and his ability to understand the pain points of people across different stratas of society because of his extensive travel in India and his ability to resonate and connect with the people that he comes from. So today you have a prime minister who does not come from political aristocracy, but what he comes from is hard work and has risen to the point of being the Prime Minister of India and has managed to be there for the last 3 terms. And that is in itself is a phenomenal feat. And why is that possible? Is because people believe in the efforts and the services and the initiatives that he has put across over the last 11 years. When Amit Bagari and I started to write the book, we thought we'd probably find about 1,000, 2,000 initiatives done over the last 10-year period. And to our surprise, we got 1,90,257 initiatives that were done by Prime Minister Modi. Now, you will have people in the opposition wanting to point fingers at Prime Minister Modi, and rightfully so. That's the job of the opposition. And I'm not saying that I would give the Prime Minister at this point of time, 11 on 10 or 10 on 10. There's still a lot of work to be done. But what I certainly believe that he has certainly crossed the distinction mark as far as being able to reach out and take his initiatives, take his schemes, take the Viksit Bharat initiative that he has to a grassroots level and make huge impacts to people. Something as simple, let's take something as simple as creation of toilets across India, which was something that was never considered important. He brought that level of dignity back to people who were facing, some sort of scar because they had to go outside and use a toilet because, well, there was no toilet available to them. And that's something as simple as people might think of it as mundane, but it's not mundane. It has a lot of dignity attached to it, and he was able to transform that bit of it, and that is important. So I think Prime Minister Modi understands the pain point of the large section of this country, which are predominantly the middle class and the lower middle class, and he's able to answer and create initiative that benefits them. Is there a lot of work that Prime Minister Modi needs to do in the remaining tenure of his term? The answer is yes. Is there a lot of things that can be expected out of him? The answer is yes. But is he done a fairly decent job, in my opinion, over the last 11 years? I think I
Okay.
would, as an analyst, as somebody who's written 2 books on him based on data and not personal opinions, I believe that he has done transformational work as far as India is concerned, and I believe he will continue to do that.
Okay,
Can
Nikhil.
he do better? Most certainly.
Okay, Nikhil, your opening comments?
So, Karthikeya, first of all, before I delve into the substantive data points, two problems. One, why is the government of India launching a book about what Prime Minister Modi has done and not what the government of India has done in the past 10 or the 20 years? That itself is very problematic. Secondly, this penchant for using Hindi names even in English versions of things. Why do you have to call it Viksit? Why do you have to call it names that people from South India would not understand? And as a lawyer, I am facing this problem when they've changed the criminal laws, calling them Bhartiya, Sakshya, Adhiniyam. I don't have a bad Hindi, but even I have a difficulty pronouncing the kind of Hindi names that have been kept. All that apart, game changer. I think, yes, Prime Minister Modi has been a game changer prime minister for the country, but in quite the different ways, I would argue, than Savio does. I think he's been he's been one prime minister who knows how to market what his government does, even things that his government has not done. He's the one prime minister who created the government of India like a cult, an overly personalized cult. He has an absolute disdain for opposition, for the parliament, and he likes to walk his own road, whether it is breaking the protocol, whether it is not perhaps the best decision that the government should take. And I think these are the greatest achievements of Prime Minister Modi. So far as the development work is concerned, which this booklet talks about, Savio talked about direct benefit transfers. While I support the scheme, that is not particularly a development initiative, that is a social welfare initiative. And when the UPA governments did the same, or the previous governments did the same, Prime Minister Modi was among the first people to criticize them as revdies or freebies or garibo ko atmanirbhar nahi bana rahe and this and that. But now when he finds it convenient for his political means, he goes ahead and does that. So far as toilets are concerned, again, toilets is something I really appreciated when the Prime Minister said that from the pedestal of the Red Fort in 2016, talked about sanitation in the country. But what has come out of it, I really do not know. I travel quite a lot on account of my work. I do not find public toilets on highways. I travel quite a lot within the city of Delhi. I do not find public toilets outside the NDMC area. And so far as toilets in villages is concerned, at people's houses, there have been numerous reports how toilets have been built, but those toilets don't even have a water connection. They don't have a sewage connection. So you might as well go to the farm because those toilets are practically dysfunctional. Now, on the point of development, that a lot of development work has been done under this government. Certainly, it has been. The Prime Minister recently inaugurated the Chenab Bridge with, of course, a jib camera and an entire movie setup to shoot reels and videos and whatnot of the Prime Minister, something that the country had never seen before Prime Minister Modi. But development works are not only the characteristic of this government. Every single government before Prime Minister Modi, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, Manmohan Singh, Nehru, everybody has done a whole bunch of development projects. It's just that those prime ministers were not taking out busy time from their busy schedules to go and inaugurate a bridge or a highway section or a tunnel, this or a single train. This prime minister is somebody who's going and inaugurating a single train. Well, good that we have a Vande Bharat train. But can you expect the prime minister to really go and inaugurate every single thing? That is what this prime minister does, which is why it feels that he's developing all the time. We are a very large nation with a very large government with hundreds of billions of dollars of government spending. For heaven's sake, we will have a lot of development projects.
No,
But the previous governments never made an issue out
okay,
of it.
point taken. I allowed you to speak. Today I want to evaluate what is there on the table. Today I don't want this conversation to be between the guests. I want this conversation to be what the Modi has done. I'll just change the template a bit. For example, Modi is a campaign prime minister. He invests in campaigns like Swachh Bharat campaign, and he has a style of doing it. He has taken the broom. My question to you, Savio, is, can we say he's the non-status quoist prime minister? I mean to say, we have a new parliament, we will have a new central vista, we have a war memorial. So he has done a lot of things on which the opposition has not agreed, but he has done them. And people, whether they like it or not, it's a legacy thing. So whether you like Nehru or not, when you say Bhakra Nangal, you remember Temple of Modern India commented by Nehru. Now, whether you like this new parliament or not, this is going to stay for next 100 years and people will say Modi built it. Next 100 years, whether you like this central vista or not, people will say Modi built it. The war memorial, Modi built it. So, in terms of the tangible things he has done, for example, doing away 370 or delivery of the core agenda, which is Ram Mandir, or for example UCC, it should have been by the center if we go by the book, but it is coming via states now. Do you think he's been the most non-status quoist prime minister?
I personally believe that Nikhil is a very intelligent man, but somehow he doesn't understand data and he doesn't want to focus on data. So let me just give him some data so that understand what Prime Minister Modi is all about. Now, loan disbursed to minorities during the UPA era was 2,033 crores. During the Modi era, it's 6,215 crores, which is a 205.7% jump. Let's look at female minority students. Right up till the year of 2014, in the UPA time, it was 1.044 million. In Narendra Modi's time, that's gone up by 63.9%, which is 1.71 million for the year 2024. Agri and social sector expenses, you're looking at during UPA era, it was 114.93 lakh crores. During Modi's era, right up till 2024 end, it was 504.84 lakh crore. If I go into SC, ST, OBC in higher education, it was 115.7 million during the UPA era. During the Modi era, it's 172.885 million, which is about a 49.3% growth. I can go into something as simple as the Jan Ashudhi Kendra pharmacies, which were 87 during the UPA era. And in Modi's time now, it's 11,499, which is almost a huge percentage of jump.